Okay, mic check. 1 2 1 2. Mic check. Let me know if you hear the mic. Anybody out there? Thank you, Nitin. Thank you. All right, 1 second. We are streaming. Trying to do a little bit of extra streaming. Want to get those streaming numbers up. Get some more people watching. Okay, let's get started. Good morning, good afternoon, Sander. TJ. All righty then. All righty then. Okay, welcome to the Pro Trade Room Plus, the FOMC Minutes. My name is Lee Goldstein, the Trade Director for 10-Minute Trades. Please remember, all the trades we discuss for educational purposes. And hello to our friends watching on YouTube. Let's get our charts onto ES 0326. And I think I will put my second chart on gold. MGC. MGC 0426. Gold is up $100. The ES up $48 at the moment. Let's take a quick look at the longer term just on the ES. Looking at a 30-minute chart. You can see the ES
Now
is
goes to
bullish
Q&A
today.
session with Levitt.
Definitely. And just going back to yesterday, end of the day, well, actually 10 in the morning-ish. After 10 in the morning, the ES started pushing up yesterday. And overall today, a bullish day. That's what we shall say, a bullish day. We shall say a bullish day. Let's put a reverse continue on the ES. Change the trade type to a reverse continue from a breakout. Position 1 is a 1. Profit target 1 is 20 ticks. I'll make it 25. We'll do 25 and 25. 25 target, 25 stop, 12.50 a tick. Excuse me, on the ES. $12.50 a tick. We will label it MES reverse continue like we always do. I'm so boring. It's not boring. We just have to do the same things over and over so everybody is prepared. It's boring. Trading is boring. Lots of trading is boring. It's preparation. It's being ready so you don't screw up during the trade. So I'm not going to apologize for being boring. I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to say you should thank me for being boring and going over these reminders. If you don't need me and you want to remind yourself, remember, we have our 10-minute trade checklist, pre-trade checklist, and the pre-trade checklist is available in the file folder in the trade room. All right, there's a whole bunch of useful files in that file folder. So check them out if you're new. You've got a sync program to make sure your computer's in sync. You've got replay, playback lessons. You've got set up your charts like mine. All of that kind of stuff, all right? So make sure you check out the files. There's some good files in there. And the pre-trade checklist is useful. Check for the correct symbol. It's not stupid. Check for the correct time frame. What time frame are you trading on? And you know, I made a big mistake today. I was testing data and I forgot to change back to reducing the number of days of data I want loaded. I had way too many days of data loading, which can slow down your Ninja Trader. So click your data series, right click your chart, click data series, and days to load really should be no more than 3 if you're trading fast moving markets. You can always go back and put 30 days of data, 50 days of data when you're doing your research, but don't do this research when you're trading. Don't use the same charts. Make sure that your resources are low. And I'm kind of thinking about James because James has been having some order issues with prop accounts. His orders have been freezing constantly. And one of the things I didn't remind him to check could definitely be number of days that data is loading. That absolutely is very, very important. Okay. Is your trade type correct? You know, when
Levin
you've
says there are
got
many
your
arguments for why
strategy
you should
on,
make for
we're
striking
gonna
Iran.
put our strategy on. Where'd my strategy go? Oh, I never finalized it. So let's start from scratch for all the new people.
Adding Iran
Right
would be
click
wise
your
to make a
chart,
deal with Trump.
click strategies, double click news trader, change the breakout to a reverse continuation. Position size 1 is a 1. Our target is going to be 25 ticks. I think I said 20, but we'll do 25 and 25 for today. 25
Levin
tick
adds the
target,
FOMC is Trump's
25
first
stop.
option for Iran.
Then I'm going to slow down, slide down. The account I'm going to trade this in will be the prop account I think I've been trading in this morning. That was number 37. We're going to label this ES, reverse continue. All right. Choose the account, like I said, apply it, okay it, and we already have one set up all ready to go. All right, we've got our ES set up ready to go for the reverse continue. Now, for the main trade, that's what the pre-trade checklist is really geared for. So we're going to right click the chart, click on the strategy, double click trap trade, because that's what our main trade is. We're going to check the DMM, the daily market mover. And by the way, it looked to me like British CPI was a terrible move. I don't know if anybody looked at that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was
Yes,
a
according to
horrifying
reports,
whipsaw.
saying a senior American told me that the round of discussions with Iran in Geneva was a hamburger stuffed with nothing.
FOMC meeting minutes.
This is one of the reasons why Trump is close to making a decision on going to war with Iran. And still
FOMC
reporting
meeting
that he's just
minutes.
talking about the discussions that have been going on between the Iranians
20 tick
and
stop.
the US and indirectly with Oman.
The time we're going to trigger, the time we're going to trigger is, and I see that we didn't update this DMM. We don't use prep seconds anymore. We use activate, and the activate is going to be 13:59:55. This is a 14 o'clock trade, 2 o'clock. 13:59:55. Our stop's going to be 20, and you could see this has not been a great moving trade. All right, has not been great. Um, we've only had 2 decent ones in the past 6 events, 4 cancels. So our tiers are pretty small, and that's the risk. The risk is something is said in this report that bursts the tiers, the orders, the price action. If you get a burst of price action, it could blow up our trap trade. That's the risk of any trap trade. So just keep that in mind. Adjust time to your time zone. Always correct. That should be on the pre-trade checklist. That time should be your local time. So in other words, if the trade is 2 o'clock Eastern time and you're on 1 o'clock Central time, you should be trading at 1 o'clock, not 2 o'clock, or you'll miss the trade. Or you could set your computer to Eastern time, which is confusing. Just use your local time. Keep things simple. 13:59:55 is the East Coast trigger time. 20 tick stop. Our tiers are going to be 15 and 25. We're going to label the trade trap ES. Going to trade it in the same account as our reverse continuation. Apply it, okay it. On a trap trade, don't forget to put your chart trader on that account. On a trap trade, when you enable it, at the top you'll get buttons, and you want to see enough buttons so that the final button is combined. So your chart needs to be wide enough horizontally so that
That's
you
what Chris
see
sort of hinted
combined.
about UK's PM Starmer.
Now we're getting some negative Iran war news, and that might invalidate this
He's just
trade.
talking about Diego Garcia, just that land there.
Talks with Iran in Geneva were a hamburger stuffed with nothing, one of the reasons why Trump is close to making a decision on going to war with Iran. So the
So
warmonger,
Trump says US may need
um,
Diego Garcia if Iran does not make a deal.
the
Again, that's
warmonger
Trump on
is
Truth
looking
Social,
for more
just
wars.
speaking about Keir Starmer, saying the US may need Diego Garcia if Iran does not make a deal.
So we'll see how that plays
Meanwhile,
out.
UK's PM Starmer is losing control of Diego Garcia.
Hang on one second. Hopefully, diplomacy. I mean, unfortunately, Iran is unbelievably difficult. Unbelievably
Trump adds that the
difficult.
UK should that Diego Garcia should not be taken away from the UK.
Now, I'm ignorant. All right. So we're going to keep an eye on our tiers. Hopefully, they will not be too small today. What's the worst that could happen? What's the worst that could happen in a trap trade? You don't get filled. So my gut feeling, because of a little bit of this volatility here, is to increase the brackets a little bit. Because, like I said, everybody made good money on the market opens. And if I don't get filled on an FOMC minutes trade, I couldn't care less. I'm going to go with tiers of 20 and 35. All right. That still should get us filled on tier one if the move is small. And if it's a little bigger, we have a zone of safety. I'm going to increase the stop to 25. We have a zone of safety of 70 ticks, 60 ticks, sorry. 35 plus 25. 35 plus 25. 60 ticks. You take the stop plus tier 2, that's your zone of safety. If the trade doesn't move 60 ticks, then it allows us to manage it if it fills. So that's what we're going to do on our trap trade. On gold, micro gold, we're going to put a reverse continuation on the chart. News trader, click it, change the breakout trade to a reverse continue. Couple of contracts on position size one. We're
White
going to
House alert
go
says there was a little bit of progress that was made on Iran.
for 40 ticks. Now she says there's a little bit of progress made on talks with Iran. 40 ticks for the target. We're on micro gold. We'll go 60 ticks on the stop. That's our discretionary trade. And we will do micro gold. That's my only trade on gold that I'm interested in. We'll do that in prop account number 38, which is a fairly healthy, nice prop account. Make sure your chart trader is on the account you're trading. Don't forget, that's important. That's great. Oh, don't you love when that happens? You're in a
Yes,
trade
Trump has had no direct discussions,
all the way
just
on the wrong
redirected his trade
side.
down.
You're in a trade completely on the wrong side, and a piece of news comes out, totally changes your trade, gives you a profit. It's so great when something like that happens. Happens a lot too. I mean, it's not an uncommon event. And it's obviously it's the reason that we always recommend that people keep our schedule around. So absolutely you want to know what's going on in the news in general so that you're not surprised when events come out. How many traders do you think are out there that know nothing about news trading? There are a lot of them. And so often I would think they don't know when the news is coming out and it ruins their trades. I think it happens often. Now, my number, this trade is not labeled properly. Look, all trades get labeled. If you see a trade in the strategy area and it's just labeled news trader, you haven't labeled it. Right click, go to strategies, highlight the trade, go down to the label, news trader. That's the default. It's a MGC reverse continue. Why is it so important to label the trades? Because especially in the mornings, we have multiple setups on multiple charts. And when you're done with a setup, you want to remove it to reduce confusion. That's one thing. And number two, if you ever have to cancel a trade because of whatever reason, you want to be able to know which checkbox to check. Because to cancel the trap trade, all I have to do is uncheck the box. That's all I have to do. It's easy. So it's extremely easy to do things if you keep yourself labeled and organized. And that's what we like to do. Now, for whatever reason, I do not have December's FOMC minutes. It was a no fill. It was a no fill. Here was
White House says
November.
that we believe it's in Cuba's interest to make changes soon.
Here's November. We were using tiers very close to what we're using now, a little bit smaller. You could see there were 5 out of 6 cancels. 5 out of 6.
10 minutes ago now, we get the FOMC meeting minutes at the top of the hour.
5 out of 6. I think we get filled today. No cancel today. We're going to get filled. Now there's our trap trade. We were doing a lot of things. We had an NQ trade going. We had an ES magnet going. We had a whole bunch of setups going. The trap trade is our number one. And in November, it moved a little bit in 10 seconds. We watched. Looks like it's going to fill us long. There it is. It fills long. Target position 1 fills the second position. And now it should start reversing if everything goes according to plan. Now it's starting to reverse a little bit, not very much. I'm starting to think about getting my targets into a place where they can get hit. Remember on a trap trade, the opposite orders, your original opposite orders are now your targets. And now we're starting to get a decent reversal. Starting to reverse. It's changing its mind. Wow. So I was just touching the top of my head. And you know how like a baby has that little spot on their head, that soft spot? Well, I've been watching the Game of Thrones, A Night of the Seven Kingdom, and I don't want to give away the story, but somebody has like no head because of a joust. It was awful. Oh my God, it was awful. That is by far one of the best Game of Thrones shows I've ever seen in my life. So well done, in my opinion. So the trap trade was a medium to small profit, buck and a half. Not easy. That was not an easy one, but the profit was there. The profit was there. It reversed. It was up to 250 at that point. Then it changed its mind. So it's not easy. That was November. Let's look for the tiers are going to be. Let's get those tiers. I made them a little bit bigger because of the market pushing down from news. I am a little bit concerned over the behavior.
David says progress was made in trilateral discussions on Russia and Ukraine. Another round of Ukraine discussions are in the future.
20 and 35 with a stop of 25 is what we're using. 20 and 35. Now you can look at your traps just like you could look at brackets. If you set your time to 0 on a trap trade, you can do the same thing that you do on a breakout trade and look and see where your tiers are lining up. It's useful to see where your orders are lining up.
Order submitted.
Also, you get an idea, are orders freezing? You get that also.
Order canceled.
If you do it not in sim, which you're not supposed to do, if you get my drift. The market is a little bit volatile. I'm actually thinking of being really crazy. 1359.55 and upping the tiers. Like I said, there's nothing to lose if you don't get filled. Yes, I've increased them once, and I'm thinking about increasing them again.
5 minutes ago until we get the FOMC meeting minutes.
25 to 40 on the tiers, folks. The market's volatile because of the commentary. I'd rather not get filled than lose all the money I made this morning. 25.40. This is an event that is generally not a moneymaker. It's been inconsistent. Inconsistent. I wouldn't even call it inconsistent. It's been not moving. So now you have a market that seems to be a little bit concerned about comments. You've got comments on both sides. Now, that's a good thing. That's why having slightly bigger tiers might help us. We've got Ukraine commentary that might be good. You've got Cuba commentary that might be considered bad. That's another war for a warmonger. And then you've got Iran mongering going on as well. Nothing burgers. I don't know. Like I said, increasing tiers on a trap trade. What's the worst that's going to happen if you do it? The worst that happens on any trade is a stop. So forget that. We all accept that the worst thing that happens on a trade is a stop out. But what's the worst that could happen on a trap trade after if you don't get stopped? You don't get filled. You don't have a trade. Oh, and that's so horrible. Your life's going to end if you don't get filled? No. So if there's commentary, if there's market potential, extra market moving potential, when we had the tariffs, our tiers were 40 and 80, if I remember correctly. We significantly increased the tiers and made money because of it, because we were fortunate. And you need a little bit of luck with tiers also. Yeah, 60 and 80 we used. 60 and 80. And they moved. They moved. We probably used a stop of 40. Now, here's the other funny thing. I was trading, not live, the 20-year bond auction. The 20-year bond auction, if you look at the DMM, it is clearly a very, very poor DMM. Let me show you real quick. Maybe we'll wait till after the news. The 20-year bond auction DMM is rotten to the core almost. Yeah, it has nothing. No winners, no nothing. So we didn't have a 20-year auction room today. Nobody would fault me for that. And of course, it had a perfect move today. It was an easy, beautiful trade. Maybe next month, we took a month off from the bond auctions. Maybe next month we'll come back to the bond auctions again. I don't ever mind spending the time. I don't like wasting time.
1 minute ago now,
I don't mind
200
spending time. And the bond auctions, they've been a waste of time. Now, the YM didn't move at all. I think the YM. I'd like to hear from Langford if he's been trading the YM much on any of the bond auctions lately. Because I'm getting ready to remove the YM from the DMM. All right, so our tiers, our Eric Claptons are going to come real soon. Remember, gold is just discretionary. Gold is up
10 seconds.
$100 today. Over 5,000
Order
again.
submitted.
Over 5,000. Gold is unbelievable. It's truly unbelievable.
Fed says most cautioned disinflation could be slower than expected. Several would have supported two-sided language on rate path, and several saw more cuts if inflation declines as expected. So participants anticipated inflation would move down toward 2% target, though pace and timing remained uncertain. Participants generally assess with appropriate monetary policy, the labor market would likely
All right, I'm getting
stabilize
ready
and
to
improve this
cancel
year.
the trap trade
Most
due
participants
to
thought
a
the upward
lack
move toward
of
2% target might be
big
slower
move.
and more
It
uneven
went
than
to
was
the
generally expected,
VWAP.
and judged
Went to
participants
the
were nevertheless
VWAP.
persistently approaching
The
support
ES
levels.
is
This
relatively
observed economic
bullish,
activity appears
so
to be
I'm not
expanding
dying
a
to
solid
get
pace,
filled short.
generally at
Our
levels
original
consistent with
move
the growth
was
forecast
short,
slowed in
which would be
2026.
a long
The vast
fill.
majority
I
of
will not
participants
allow
expect
it
market conditions
to go
and
up
options
and fill me
markets to show
short.
some
I will not
stabilization
allow
and
that.
that downside risks had
If
diminished.
it gets close,
Offsetting
I'm
this
gonna
stark
cancel
upside
now
market
anyway.
activity, the
After a
strong rally
minute
in December,
of
with
nothing,
inflation forecast to be slightly
our
higher than
move
unemployment
Order
forecast
canceled.
was not big enough.
beginning in
Now,
2026.
I probably should have gone with our original tiers. So live and learn, live and learn. 22 ticks, 24 ticks. We might have gotten filled had we used 15 ticks. Again, not going
Also
to
from yesterday's
cry
event, almost all
like a
participants
baby
favored holding rates steady
over,
at the January meeting, with a couple
maybe not
preferring rate
making the
cuts.
best decision. You could
Several
take
participants commented that further rate cuts will likely be appropriate if inflation
a
continues to rise
long
in line with their expectations.
scalp with a stop,
Order submitted.
a stop maybe just below the candle. Let's see if
We
we
see
get
spot
I'm
gold
just
holding
looking for a
gains after the
little
FOMC
scalp here.
200 meter minutes, last up about
That's all I'm
2%
looking
weaker.
for.
Dollar reduced
Really,
into
the stop,
excuse me,
it
took on
should
some tips
be
through the
under
market
the
and
VWAP
favored
if you're going to
the
take
dollar.
this trade. It's quite a few $100. But our trap trade didn't work to the downside, okay? It's not, we'll see. If we get any movement at all, I could be completely wrong. It's a trap, it's a prop account that, it's for experimentation. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. We failed to move down very heavily. My stop is below where we moved. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. My scalping, very honestly, has not been strong lately. Although we did have a beautiful gold scalp on testing the high and low. We did have a great gold scalp this week. FOMC, we just may not be getting enough interest here. I thought maybe we'd get a move to the upside, but it doesn't appear. I'm not giving up yet, but not looking for all that much. Right now, momentum is trying to push in our direction, trying to push. See you, Frank. And this is our last event for the day. Let me throw up tomorrow's challenge link. So, like to see everybody come to the challenge. The new software will be out available over the weekend when the challenge is over. That's the link. And gold is kind of, it's up $100. It's probably going to continue moving up. Calvin said he looked at the MNQ on this and he hit a couple of targets. I mean, the MNQ, not seeing, did you have a long on the MNQ?
So keep in mind in 5 minutes time
I
now,
mean, it's not exactly what I would call a
Central Time,
great
we are expecting close to
trading
halfway
candle
there to
on the
the experiment.
MNQ at 2 o'clock. It's not anything to write home about.
So Bremen's speaking at
Oh,
a
you took a
Parliamentary
short.
Expenditure
Okay.
Select Committee.
So it looks like it was a better short on the MNQ. Now on this ES, it's really not, it's not really doing much. If it gets me above my entry, I'd be pleased at this point. And I think rather than using a big stop, because I don't think I want to stick around. I may not have to stick around. Let's give it a few more minutes before I do anything else. So we're not trading the Australia jobs report. Too inconsistent. It's almost impossible to tell if that report is a breakout currently or a trap. So it's best to just leave it alone and pass on it. I was saying yesterday, we'll let that report over time show us what it is. Sometimes you just have to wait for a report to just reveal itself. When a report is inconsistent, you're better off not trading it. Just watching, hating trading at the moment. Watching and hating my decision. Watching and hating. All right, so looking at the schedule before we go, we'll be back tomorrow. No room for API. 6:30 in the morning for Walmart.
Press secretary lever to return to
Walmart
press
has
pause.
been so-so, so-so. All right. Tomorrow is not a great day to write home about, in all honesty. We have the market open and we've got, unemployment and Philly Fed unemployment at 8 o'clock, 8:30. Not a great event anymore. I'll be looking for magnets more than anything else on that event. And then natural gas has actually been trading decent. We will not have a trade room for oil. We'll have be in our webinar tomorrow.
Shortly expecting
And
comments
then
from RBC
Friday,
Governor Bremen.
Friday is Flash Friday. So we'll let Flash Friday do its thing. So this is a scalp that's not going to work unless something dramatic happens. Now, I never would have traded this. The interesting thing is, I never would have even dreamed of trading it in a cash account. I wouldn't have even been trading the event. That's the truth. I wouldn't have traded the event. That's the terrible thing about prop trading. And that's what I mean about it creates, it can create very bad trading habits. Now, I don't think entering the trade on a failure to the downside was necessarily bad trading habits. It was just an idea that didn't work. I can accept that, but it does create bad trading habits also. Is it a bad trading habit to trade an event you wouldn't normally trade? Is it bad trading habits to scalp an event you wouldn't normally scalp? Yeah, I think maybe yes, right? Maybe yes. Now, remember some time ago we talked about you take a trade, you take a scalp, it goes against you. You don't get stopped out, and then it starts going in your favor. You can double your risk, but if you put a contract on now long, you make it easier to get out of this trade with a profit. Because if you're right, you're going to start earning right now. It's easier to get out of the red. That's something, what do they call that? Martingale? I think it was called Martingale in the old days when Rob Thompson blew up like a 50,000, 500,000, 200,000. I don't remember. How, Calvin, you probably remember this. Martingale was the system, I believe it was called. And who was the trader who blew up his account? A huge account live. He kept adding to losers. I don't remember his name. He's still around. He's still around. What was his name? Rob Hoffman. That's who it was, right? I believe he's still around. And I don't remember the amount of money he lost that day. It was a lot of money he lost that day. It was a very remembered, was it 300,000? Was it that much? I mean, you've got to have a pretty big trading account to lose 300,000. That was way before prop was even a word. Nobody was trading prop in those days. There was no prop to speak of like we have today. Hey, Ratner, very good. Way to go. Way to go. So Ratner, who won RD, who won the our last challenge, he won the magnet software, just passed a 100,000 Bullinox eval, signed up for a master account. So he's now working on his next step, and he was just checking in online. So this idea is going to stop me out right about now, and then we're going to get out of here. And I'll see everybody tomorrow morning. So this was an idea that failed. Maybe if you look at the price action, maybe it was a bad idea. Look at lower low after lower low after lower low. I think my idea in retrospect looks worse than it was when I took the trade. That's what I think. Looking at the price action, I think it was a dumb trade. Dumber than it seemed at the time. And no matter what the Fed says, doesn't say, um, people are struggling to find jobs. If you lose your job, everywhere I read, people are absolutely struggling to find an equivalent job. Um, we all know prices are through the roof. We also now know that Walmart has been overcharging everybody
RBNZ's Governor
for
Bremer says
weighed.
fundamentals are
Um,
consistent with slower inflation.
if you check the weight of the meat that
Order
they're
failed.
selling, it's been unbelievably lighter than what they say they're selling people. So there's a big Walmart scandal about the food that the not produce but like beef. They're charging for 3 pounds of beef and it's a pound and a half. So there's a whole big scandal going on online that I've been watching. People going to various Walmarts,
And RBNZ's Governor Bremer says
weighing the
fundamentals are
Walmart
consistent
food.
because
It's
all of
pretty
these factors are
outrageous. I
driving
mean, and I don't
inflation
think
and
people are
slower.
faking it. It doesn't seem like, it seems like these are legitimate people. And, I'm that's outrageous. And it may even be that Walmart wasn't paying any attention. It seems to be the suppliers that might be responsible. However, I don't know what they're doing about it. They certainly are not addressing it. I haven't seen any commentary about it at all. No comments. You'd think there would be some commentary about it. But that's, how much can people take? How much do you have to take?
Order submitted.
All right, folks, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go short and I'll see everybody tomorrow morning. I'll see everybody at, what do we say? 8 o'clock for tomorrow.
RBNZ's Governor Bremen says, I'm not at all comfortable with having inflation at 3.1%.
What time? 8 o'clock. No, 6:30, sorry. Walmart, 6:30. I'll see everybody at 6:30 tomorrow morning for Walmart. So have a great rest of your day, everyone, and I'll see you all later. See ya.
And Bremen says that January prices data showed slower inflation. And RBNZ's Governor Bremen says wage growth is modest and we do have spare capacity.
All right, everybody online. I never said goodbye. So, everyone watching online, have a great rest of your day, folks. And I'll see you all tomorrow. So, have a good one. Thanks for joining the stream. See you all later.